Captain Alara Voss stood before the observation bay, her reflection ghostly in the glass as the black sea of stars stretched endlessly beyond. Behind her, the humming of the outpost systems was the only sound, a subtle, persistent reminder of the silence that had lasted generations. For 3 millennia, this station, Outpost Kepri, had drifted unnoticed at the edge of the solar system, wrapped in stealth fields and shadows, watching a world that no longer spoke. Earth, once brilliant, then broken and finally silent. It had gone dark after the collapse, its final message lost in static and dust. Colonies had spread, carving out lives in the void, adapting, surviving. Some forgot Earth entirely. Others whispered of its destruction. But Alara had never forgotten. Not Earth, not her ancestors' exile, not the question that had haunted her since she took command of Kepri 5 years ago. What really happened down there? Her AI companion, RIN, pulsed to life in the room center. Captain, anomaly detected. Origin, subspace. Faint patterned. Timestamp indicates recent activity. Alara turned. From where? RIN hesitated. A rare thing for a synthetic. Coordinates suggest Earth's lunar vicinity. Her breath caught. Repeat scan. Filter cosmic interference. The AI complied. After a moment, the lights dimmed slightly as power rerouted to long dormant deep scan arrays. A string of symbols scrolled across the display, unfamiliar yet eerily intentional. A pattern. A pulse. That's not natural, she muttered. Correct. Transmission bears hallmarks of pre-collapse Earth technology. Encryption appears archaic, but deliberate. She approached the terminal, fingers dancing across the controls. The signal was looping, masked under radiation layers. Ancient, yet activated recently. What's the message? RIN decoded in real time. The symbols became numbers, then words. To those who remain, the gate opens in 12 hours. Choose your side. Alara's heartbeat thudded in her ears. Gate. Unknown. However, frequency resonance indicates possible connection to FTL prototype tech. That's impossible, she whispered. FTL was never finished. Earth never cracked it. No records confirm success. Yet this signal suggests activation of something resembling a folded space drive network. She stared out into the void again. A dead planet sending messages. A forgotten world calling out. Contact the Council, she ordered. Attempting. RIN paused. All deep space relays appear compromised. Interference suggests intentional suppression. She knew what that meant. Someone, something, didn't want them hearing this. Before she could respond, proximity alerts flared red across the interface. Vessel incoming. No registry. No identification beacon. Trajectory. Solar orbit insertion. Alara stiffened. Hostile. Uncertain. Energy readings indicate possible weapon systems charging. She cursed under her breath. No one was supposed to know Kepri existed. No one except remnants of the Earth Command. And they were long gone. Whoever this was, they were listening to the same signal. And they were responding. Alara, RIN said softer this time, we are not alone. The ship outside shimmered into partial visibility, sleek, curved lines, built not by human hands. A vessel of the Andari Dominion. Perhaps, or worse, Ravquel scavengers, known for reverse engineering lost tech. They'd found Earth's secret too. We've been watching a ghost, she said, her voice low, steady. But it turns out the ghost has been watching us too. The hostile ship did not fire. Instead, it hovered at a distance, broadcasting nothing, its weapon systems idling like a predator tasting the wind. It didn't need to attack. Its presence was message enough. You're too late. We're already here. She had a choice. Wait, hide, or act. RIN, prepped the Sparrow. Full stealth. We're going to Earth. The Sparrow's stealth drive is unstable. So is everything else, she replied. Besides, I'd rather die knowing than wait here and disappear like the rest. The AI paused, acknowledged, preparing the vessel. She moved with purpose now, her mind a storm of questions. Why now? Why had Earth reactivated after thousands of years? What was the gate? And why the warning? As she stepped into the launch bay, she allowed herself a final glance at the outpost that had been her silent companion all these years. Then she sealed the hatch and launched into the dark. The stars blurred around her. In her gut, a knot of anticipation twisted. Earth was not dead. It had never been. And if what she feared was true, humanity's homeworld had been hiding not just secrets, but power. The kind of power that would unmake empires. Behind her, the Andari ship turned, slowly following. And ahead, across cold silence and memory, Earth waited. The moon loomed like a ghost in the void, silent, cratered, ancient. Illyra's vessel, the Sparrow, exited stealth with a muted shudder, her controls vibrating gently under her fingertips. The journey from Kepri had taken under an hour. The prototype jump drive stitched together from remnants of old Earth tech and black market schematics. She had expected defenses, satellite networks, drones, maybe even a warning beacon, but the lunar surface offered only stillness. No signals, no power, just a faint trace of something buried deep. "All right, anything?" she asked. "There's a heat signature beneath the Sea of Tranquility. Faint but active. Coordinates match an obsolete Earth military complex. Lunar Command." She inhaled long and slow. "Then that's where we go." The Sparrow touched down amid gray dust and shadowed rock. Illyra descended in silence, boots imprinting the untouched regolith. The old base was disguised beneath a slab of natural rock, its surface etched with microfractures and age. A hidden panel, still operational, responded to her approach. It scanned her, clicked, and opened. The corridor beyond exhaled stale air, as if shocked to receive a visitor. She moved carefully, weapon drawn, senses sharp. The deeper she went, the more the past reasserted itself. Walls lined with ancient consoles, defunct holoscreens flickering in the dark. It felt like walking through a mausoleum. Humanity's last heartbeat entombed in metal and silence. "Power source detected," RIN said. 2 levels below. Active, though contained. She descended. The control room was triangular, built for functionality rather than comfort. At its center stood a stasis pod, surrounded by inert terminals and a single glowing interface. Her fingers hovered over the controls. Then, steady, she activated the console. The pod hissed. A man, gaunt, pale, middle-aged, emerged coughing violently. He wore the insignia of Earth's High Command, though faded and torn. His eyes adjusted slowly, then found hers. "Captain," he rasped. "Too soon." "Who are you?" she asked, pulse hammering. "General Lyric Van," he said, voice dry. "Earth defense. Or what's left of it." Illyra stared. "You've been asleep for 3,000 years." "No," he said, shaking his head weakly. "I've been waiting." She lowered her weapon, but only slightly. "For what?" "The return. The reckoning. The day someone like you found this place." She narrowed her eyes. "What happened to Earth?" Van smiled without joy. "We didn't fall. We vanished. On purpose." She waited. He looked up at the ceiling, as if searching through dust and memory. The collapse wasn't the end. It was the beginning of a retreat. Earth's government saw what was coming. Something too big to fight, too fast to run from. So we made ourselves small, quiet, hidden. We buried our tech. We scattered lies across the stars. And we built the gate. "The signal," she whispered. "Yes, the key. We had one shot to turn the galaxy's attention elsewhere. Project Exodus. The real FTL drive. The one no one believed we had." Illyra's stomach tightened. So Earth had FTL all along? Not just FTL. Control. The ability to shift entire fleets across folded space without detection. But we were cowards in the end. We used it not to lead, but to disappear. The rest of humanity fled, fought, or forgot, and Earth slept. Illyra paced, processing. Why wake now? Van leaned forward. Because someone out there started listening again. Someone close to unlocking what we buried. If the gate opens without us ready, they'll take it. Who? The Andari. Or worse. Scavengers, raiders, opportunists with no loyalty to anyone but themselves. They've traced the signal. They're coming. I saw them, she said quietly. They followed me. Van's expression hardened. Then it's already started. She stared at him, torn between awe and fury. You hid this from the colonies. You let us fracture. Die. Why? His voice turned cold. Because unity forged in fear isn't unity. Earth needed time. Secrecy was the only way. She looked away, jaw clenched. And what now? You expect me to rally what's left of us around a lie. I expect you to survive, he said, and to decide whether Earth rises again or vanishes forever. The words hung heavy between them. Orian's voice cut in. Multiple vessels inbound. Cloaked. Estimated arrival, 20 minutes. Illyra turned to the ancient interface. Another signal pulsed there, waiting to be activated. Her hand hovered over it. What does this do? Van's answer was simple. It opens a gate. She looked at him, at the dust-covered walls, at the legacy of a planet that had once led the stars. She thought of the silence she had grown up with, the fractured colonies drifting through space with no center, no truth. And she thought of what might happen if the wrong hands reached Earth first. Her fingers pressed down. The gate began to hum. The lunar complex trembled as the gate came online. From deep beneath the regolith, machinery long entombed in dust and darkness stirred with eerie precision. Energy surged through buried conduits, lighting corridors untouched by time. Illyra felt it beneath her boots, an ancient heartbeat returning. The gate wasn't just a passage. It was a declaration. Earth was no longer silent. Power level stable, Orion reported. Subspace frequency expanding. Resonance pattern suggests active synchronization with relay points beyond the solar system. Illyra stood beside the console, eyes fixed on the holographic map, now flickering to life. It showed nodes, stations, ships, listening posts, hidden across the stars. They were waking up one by one, linked by invisible strands of folded space. A web, dormant for millennia, now thrummed with potential. They'll feel that across half the galaxy, she said. General Van called from his seat near the command dais, eyes weary but alert. Good. Let them come. She turned to him. We don't even know what's on the other end of these nodes. The network could be unstable. The Exodus fleet knew the risks, he replied. They were built to adapt. Earth wasn't hiding alone, Captain. It was waiting for its children to return. Illyra's brow furrowed. The colonies were never told. No, Van admitted, because not all of them would have remained loyal. Some would have sold Earth's location for survival, or worse, for favor. An alarm interrupted them, sharp, insistent. Orian's voice darkened. Incoming vessels. 5. Andari design confirmed. Weapon systems primed. ETA 90 seconds. Illyra didn't hesitate. Engage lunar defense grid. Unable. System requires dual authorization. High command and fleet command. She looked to Van. He struggled to his feet, bones creaking after centuries of cryo-sleep, and placed his palm on the secondary console. Authorization Van Lyric. High command override. Illyra mirrored him, placing her hand next to his. Authorization Voss, Illyra, fleet command. The grid responded instantly. Beneath the lunar surface, towers of metal and plasma emerged, unfolding like blooming steel flowers. Orbital cannons swiveled skyward. Dozens of dormant satellites blinked to life and took up formation, forming a tight perimeter around the moon. Outside, space crackled. The first Andari ship dropped from cloak, its sleek hull reflecting distant starlight. A moment later, its escort followed, agile, armed, and clearly not here for diplomacy. Illyra watched as the targeting systems locked in. The moon's defenses weren't flashy. They were deliberate, cold, efficient. Fire, she ordered. Brilliant lances of light cut through the void. The lead Andari cruiser exploded in a silent flare, vaporized before it could react. The others scattered, deploying countermeasures and returning fire. The entire moon shook with the exchange, but the defense grid held. 2 targets neutralized, Orion said. Remaining vessels in retreat. Van exhaled. So, they know now. They always suspected, Illyra murmured. Now they're sure. The holographic map updated again. More signals flickered to life. Some human, others not. RIN tilted its voice with caution. Colony networks responding. Signals from Mars, Titan, and Proxima Prime. Urgent transmissions requesting confirmation of Earth's return. Illyra moved to the comms panel. They'll want answers. And they won't all be allies. Van rested a hand on the console. Then we choose what Earth becomes now. A beacon or a weapon? She stared at him, uncertain. We've slept long enough, he said. But if we rise with purpose. Before she could answer, the gate's interface flared again. A new signal, different from the rest, older, encoded in the primary quantum signature used by Project Exodus. RIN translated automatically. Inbound fold signature. Massive. Origin. Unknown sector, likely outside map territory. Estimated time of arrival, 6 minutes. Van's eyes widened. That's not possible. That's the fleet. Illyra's voice caught. Exodus. They were meant to return if the gate reopened. After 3,000 years, I didn't think. The console pulsed again. Orion spoke quietly. Multiple vessels. Thousands of life signs. Identifying. Earth command markers. Confirmed. A fleet, human, powerful, ancient, was coming home. Illyra's hands gripped the console. The colonies would see it. The Andari would see it. Everyone would. There was no hiding now. Earth had stepped back onto the galactic stage, and had done so with fire and thunder. Prepare broadcast, she said. Open channel. All frequencies. Orion complied. She took a breath. This is Captain Illyra Voss, speaking from Lunar Command. Earth is awake. The gate is open. To those who abandoned us, know that we did not fall. To those who threaten us, know that we will not kneel. And to those who still believe, come home. She cut the transmission and stood in silence, the hum of the gate now steady and strong behind her. Far out in the dark, the fleet approached, and war or salvation was just 6 minutes away. The stars shimmered unnaturally, space warping like ripples across still water. Then, one by one, the ships emerged. Colossal angular behemoths of a forgotten era. The Exodus fleet arrived not with fanfare, but with a dreadful, silent purpose. Their hulls bore the scars of battles fought far beyond the known frontier. Each vessel moved with the weight of history, and the quiet defiance of those who had outlived legends. There were dozens, maybe more, escorting dreadnoughts, research arcs, colony carriers. And at the center, the Aegis Eternal, Earth's final command ship, presumed lost before Illyra had even been born. Illyra stood at the core of Lunar Command, staring at the incoming data feed. Confirm identity again, she said, her voice low. Confirmed, Orion replied. Command codes match Deep Vault protocols. They are Earth's last sovereign fleet. General Van leaned forward, gaze locked on the hologram. They survived. Where have they been? Illyra asked. Waiting, Van said, beyond the edge of map space. Holding the line against something worse than war. We sent them to shield our future, even if it meant sacrificing our past. Signals burst across the channel, compressed, urgent, familiar. One broke through directly. A voice followed. Firm. Weathered. This is Admiral Kalen Reese of the Aegis Eternal. Stand by for orbital sync. Illyra activated the channel. This is Captain Illyra Voss, Earth liaison from Outpost Kepri. Welcome home, Admiral. There was a pause, subtle, respectful. We've come not for ceremony, Reese replied, but to finish what was begun. Illyra exchanged a glance with Van. The gate? More than that, Reese said. We detected an Andari pulse near your system. Their scouts followed your signal. They attacked Lunar Command. They know Earth lives. They always suspected, the Admiral said grimly. Now they'll bring the rest. The implication hung heavy in the air. The gate was not just Earth's return. It was an alarm. The galaxy would converge here. Allies, enemies, opportunists. The Andari Dominion, broken but vengeful. The Ravquel scavengers. The fractured human colonies. Some still loyal, others long-turned mercenary. The colonies are stirring, Orion added. Incoming transmissions, some pledging aid, others seeking terms. Terms. Van Bart. This is a negotiation. Earth doesn't beg for peace. Elara stepped between them. We also don't march into another war without knowing what we're fighting for. Risa's voice softened, though it carried no less command. You fight for memory, for unity, for the future. We gave the galaxy time to become something better. It failed. Now Earth must choose to lead again, or burn quietly in the shadows. Elara felt the weight of it all pressed down on her shoulders. She hadn't come for power. She hadn't expected destiny. But now the mantle lay at her feet, and there was no one else left to lift it. What's your plan? She asked. We reconvene the arcs, Rhys said. Secure the gate. Re-establish command channels through the old jump relays. Then we reach out, not with fear, but with strength. Earth must be seen as what it truly is, a power reborn. And if they resist? Rhys didn't hesitate. Then they will remember. Orion chimed in again. Long-range sensors show Andari fleet movements. 3 battle groups inbound. Estimated arrival, 72 hours. Van turned to Elara. Then we have 3 days to unite the colonies or prepare the ruins. She stared at the star map. Every pinprick of light was a choice, a future, a danger. Her message had ignited the flame. Now they needed to control the fire. Bring the colony leaders into conference, she said. Mars, Titan, Proxima. All of them. No delays. And if they won't come? Orion asked. They'll listen, she said. Or they'll be left behind. Outside, the fleet adjusted its orbit. From every viewport on the moon, the great ships could be seen. Silent guardians, long exiled, returned now as the spearhead of a planet no longer willing to be forgotten. Humanity's cradle had become its secret. Now it would become its center. Elara closed her eyes just briefly and imagined the moment when Earth would speak again. Not with whispers or relics, but with a voice that shook the stars. Then she opened them. There's a war coming, she said quietly. Van nodded. There always is. She looked at him, then out the viewport, where the Aegis Eternal hovered like a sleeping god. Then we'll fight on our terms, she said, because no one knew Earth had FTL until it was too late.